Hello everyone, I'm Ryan and I'm here with Micah, Archery Tech at Thunder Lakes. Today we're going to go through a list of questions you should ask when buying your new bow. The first question most people are going to want to ask is, what will I use my bow for? Whether that be competition, hunting, backyard fun, bow fishing, etc.
Well, depending on what you're going to do with it, kind of depends on which model you might be leaning towards. If you just want something to, fling some arrows across the backyard and have a good time with, there's literally, the sky's the limit. You shoot whatever you feel like. As you get more moving towards a certain goal with this particular bow, there's a lot of things to consider: axle to axle length, brace height, overall weight of the bow, and of course price. But depending on what you're going to do, it's going to depend a lot of what kind of a bow is going to best suit your needs. I don't like to try to sell you the new Matthew Safari that's a $1,500 bow, $1,600 bow. If you're just flinging sticks across the backyard, that's me being a pushy salesman and not trying to fit what's going to best fit your needs, give you the most bang for your buck and the most enjoyment out of it.
Okay, moving on to the second question. It's about your price range. So basically you got to figure out what your price range would be for the bow.
So with price range, we can start out, in say you want a total package price, you got $500 or less. One of the bow lines that we carry is Warrior River. They make a really decent bow. It's considered a grow with me bow, but it'll do 30 inches on a 70 pound, which is pretty standard for most guys. And that thing, full package price, we can bundle it with some arrows, release, your field points and your target, and still get you out of here for under $400. We can set you up with like the Matthew Safari and put all the high-end goodies on it and get you all the way up to spend $3,500. I can help you do that too. If you're insistent on it, I'll do that. But pretty much any range in between. A lot of guys like to keep it under 1,000 or under 900, and that's a very, very workable number. The $1,500 range is very common with your more avid hunters, where they have very specific things that they want, a very certain site or a very specific rest and things like that.
Okay, for the third question we got, so poundage, let's talk about that. What should my poundage be? Should it be 40? Should it be 60?
A lot of that depends on you, your experience shooting, age, build, lots of things like that, and what you're going to do with it. Target shooting, really 45 to 50 pounds is great. Obviously, if you're a small kid or younger person that's getting a bow, you need to start with what's comfortable if you're new to it. Hunting, a lot of guys are really pushing for the 70, 75, 80, depending on what you're hunting. If you're going after big game out west, yeah, possibly, where you're going to be shooting a longer distance. Really, a 70-pound bow is going to be adequate for anything in North America. A lot of guys will hunt even less than that. A lot of the famous professional hunters out there are running 45, 50-pound setups for whitetails and 65, 70s maybe for elk.
Very good information there on draw weight. FPS, let's talk about that. So what does that stand for?
Feet per second. There's a lot of controversy on the FPS. I like a fast bow. They shoot flatter, longer. It makes your yardage estimations or yardage becomes a little less important. If you're shooting a very slow bow, you get out around 45, 50 yards, all of a sudden being off a couple yards can be a miss on a target. If you're shooting a 3D range or competition and an animal with a faster bow, a lot of times, you may not center punch the heart, but you still hit the heart. I like a lot of speed. Kinetic energy is mass times velocity squared, divided by some weird number to make it into actual foot-pounds of kinetic energy. But most bows now, we had a gentleman in here earlier this year. We took a 50-pound bow and was able to get him 300 feet per second because he really wanted the speed out of it. He was shooting 3D archery, and Speed is pretty easy to get out of a bow these days. They're very efficient.
That's good information too on the feet per second. Let's talk a little bit about the bows that we have showcased up here on the table. What are the three different bows here?
Okay, well, we grabbed three of them different. Over here, we have the Matthews V3X29. That's Matthews' current latest greatest hunting bow. 29-inch axle to axle. It's a really good length for a bow. As far as guys that are hunting tree stands and blinds, I shoot a 30.5-inch draw length. Feels a little short to me, but I can still shoot it well. 20, 30 yards. I wouldn't want to reach out real far with it. I'm not the greatest shot out there. I don't have the most perfect form there is. So with that being said, I would gravitate more towards this, which a lot of guys consider more of a 3D hunting bow, more like a in-betweener hunt and target bow, I guess I call it.
And that's an Obsession, correct?
Yeah, this is an Obsession DEFCON HD6. It's a 33.5 axle to axle, 6-inch brace height. It has excellent speed. It has excellent, one of the more efficient bows out there. And then right here we have the Elite Ember. And this is more of a grow with me type bow, a youth bow. Smaller frame bow. I think it's 30 inches axle to axle, and it has a great range of draw weight and draw length. The Ember will do 10 to 60 pounds, and I believe like 15 to it's on the card. It's like 15 to 60 pound, or 15 to 29 inches on draw length. It's got a great range, and it's an Elite. It's still extremely smooth, very easy to shoot. This is a great bow for someone on a budget or someone on, that's still growing.
Thanks for showing us those three different bows, Micah. Jumping back into the questions here, what camo, I guess, should I be looking at for a new bow? How will I know the right camo to use?
Color on a bow is one of those things. It's a preference, really. It's straight up preference, whichever one you like the best. Obsession offers probably the widest range of color options and camo options out there. If you take the time and you get on early in the year, you can custom order these things. You can pick one of 3 cam colors, whatever string color you want. You could do one camo on the bottom lens, a different camo on the top lens, and a flow pink riser if you wanted. I mean, you could do whatever, and they still charge you the same amount. They don't upgrade for that. Charge more for the different patterns and crazy color schemes. And some people do those kind of things. Elite offers a good solid line of camouflages and solid colors. To me, if barring like a day glow pink and solid blue bow, I really don't think that it's going to make a whole lot of difference in deer hunting. It definitely doesn't at the target range. If you go watch any of the pro target shoots, man, those bows are every color under the rainbow. The way I see it, I shoot kind of a blingy bow. Mine's all black and red and everything, and people are like, aren't you worried the deer gonna see it? Man, if the deer see that, you've already screwed up. You ain't shooting it anyway. You've done plenty of other things to attract attention.
Good to know on that too, on the colors. When they talk about cam to cam length, what's, I guess, that overall length they're talking about on a bow?
ATA length, or the axle to axle length, is literally from the axle that holds the cam in place to the other axle. And generally, the longer that distance is, the more forgiving the bow is. Your slight little hiccup with your release or whatever is going to translate to a lot smaller of a vibration or a difference in the point of impact of your arrow. If you notice, like the pro shooters, like Levi Morgan, Tim Gillingham, they're shooting bows right around 40 inches. Between 30, usually between 37 and 40 inches for their target bows, because that offers that forgiveness. Now, given these guys all have big long draw lengths like mine, some of the guys out there shooting 27, 28 are going to get that same feel and forgiveness from a much smaller bow that I get from a longer bow. So that makes, you know, like a couple years ago, Matthews had the 27-inch axle bow. I hated that thing. It shot terrible for me. String angle was bad. Everything. It was not a good bow for me, being a long draw length. But one of our customers came in and he had a 27-inch draw length, and that thing was dynamite for him. And it was a great bow for him.
So talking about all these different bow specs, whether it be axle to axle length, feet per second on the speed, how do I know that the bow is going to shoot right for me? Can I test it on the range here?
Oh yeah. We encourage everybody that comes in here, shoot as many bows as you can shoot. I'm less worried about making a sale today than I am about you getting the right bow. I'd rather see someone get into it, get the right bow for them, the one that fits them, the one that shoots the best for them. And the way that is you shoot as many bows as you can, go home, sleep on it. That one that pops up to you and you can't get out of your head, it's probably the bow for you.
All right, let's talk about arrows now. I see some arrows there.
Arrows are a deal. This is the most controversial topic in archery today. Some guys are like really heavy arrows with really super high FOCs. I don't really ascribe to that. You know, the Ashbury papers, they like to quote them. Yeah, well, that was from a 1984 bow when bows were about 50 to 55% efficiency. Bows are far more efficient than that. And arrow technology has come so far since then. The weights that he was pushing on an arrow were actually not really that heavy for the day. I mean, they're heavy for today. We got different sizes, different diameters. We got the micro diameters, which these have a 144 ID, just a really thin arrow. The 204s, I'm becoming a big fan of the 204 IDs, and then we have your standards with the 244 to 246 IDs. Traditional arrows with the traditional feathers and everything on them. I mean, this is still a carbon arrow. They just put a beautiful wood finish on it, and it looks really sweet. But arrows, I mean, we can build them anywhere from, you know, literally too light for your bow to however heavy you want them. Our opinion is you want to be between the 12 and 15% weight forward, gives you a nicer, flatter flight for a longer distance. Keep your arrow weight reasonable. I mean, you don't want something too light where it can be like dry firing your bow, but you get too heavy and basically you're just sapping performance out of your bow.
Okay, another question that the viewers might have. What is FOC exactly?
FOC, front of center. So that is the balance point on your arrow. I should have brought one of mine out. I know right where it is. But basically, FOC is the distance of your arrow and where the balance point is and what percentage of that is. Like right there is pretty close to the exact midpoint of the arrow. And this one doesn't have a field tip in it. It's probably a bad one to use. So with your field tip installed, so basically the midpoint of this arrow is going to be right here. Well, the balance point is probably right in there. So you can see that it's probably about, let's say, 1.5 inches, 1 3/4 front of there. Mm-hmm. And what that is the amount of weight that is front of center on the bow. What percentage is front of center? And what that does is that helps the arrow to stay stable. You ever throw a McDonald's straw and notice how it just kind of flutters and doesn't go straight? But if you take that McDonald's straw and you wad up the paper that comes on it, stuff it in one end, all of a sudden you can throw it straight. It's because it has a higher FOC. It's the reason they put metal tips on the javelins when they throw them in the Olympics and stuff like that.
Great explanation there on FOC. Jumping back into the questions again, if I'm new to buying a bow, how do I start buying the grain of arrow? What grain should I be looking at?
So there's actually an industry spec on arrows, and basically it's based off of your draw weight and your poundage that you're pulling. You need to be 5 grains per pound. So if you're shooting a 60-pound bow, you need to be a minimum of 300 grains 5 times 60 is 300. And with that, you go lighter than that, and you're pushing the maximum capabilities of the materials and the limbs and the strings, and you're at risk of blowing up your bow. And with the 5 grains per pound, it's safe.
Thanks for that info too. So now let's talk about all these accessories that we see on the table. If I were to buy a bow from Thunder Lakes, do we get discounts on accessories? Do we get discount on arrows?
So the day that you purchase your bow here, we offer a 10% discount on accessories. Anything you need for your bow, whether it's target, arrows, sights, rests, whatever, your releases, bow bag, we're going to give you a 10% a day of purchase. We take care of that. Just our way of thank you for purchasing with us, and kind of help make it a little easier. The cost on bows these days keeps going up, and we just want to grow the sport and get more people into it, and that's a little way to help out.
Let's look at some of these different accessories here on the table.
Well, if we start closest to me, the easiest way, is broadheads. A lot of people are asking, what broadhead should I shoot? What broadhead do you recommend? I'm kind of leery about actually recommending broadheads because it's shot placement. It's the ability, you need to shoot what's accurate out of your bow. Most broadheads these days, if you watch the Broadheads of the Week's videos, most of them pretty much do their job and do it fairly well. Like I said, I'm leery to actually say, oh, this is the greatest broadhead out there. Nah, dude. Because somebody's going to have a bow that it's not going to fly well out of. You're going to make a bad hit, and then they're going to come back and yell at me, and I don't like getting yelled at. But no, anywhere from, here's $10 a broadhead. That's not really that bad of a price. 4 broadheads for $40. The Slick Tricks, these are a staple. I keep them here. They're great broadheads. They almost always do exactly what they are. It's a fixed blade. Here is, just a mechanical. This one happens to be the Thorn Rift. These things are really great. If you're having problems getting your arrows to fly good, something like this is a good way to go. It flies more like a field point. Not all broadheads do. And then they've got this one. This is for the guys that might be a little leery of running a mechanical. Oh, it could fail. Well, this is a hybrid, so it has a set of fixed blades and a set of mechanical blades. And these are growing in popularity now. Good broadheads. Releases. A lot of people come in and want to know about releases, and they're ranging anywhere in price from, this one is one of our cheaper ones. It's decent quality, high bang for the buck kind of deal. At $30, 30-06 reload. A lot of people like the wrist releases. Some people that are really a little more experienced with it, some of them want a single jaw or a double jaw. And some of them want a hook style, which the hook style is great. I really like the hook style. Just different styles of releases. We got Scott 30-06 B3 handheld releases. This is one I just grabbed. This is from 4K JT. I've been playing with it for the last few weeks, really figuring it out. I actually really like this one. This is a budget release. It's sits on our shelf at about $70, but I've been using it in paper tuning and tuning bows, and I've had good success with it. It's been great. Trying to find something that's not going to break the bank. If you're into handheld releases, you know that they get up well over $350 pretty quick, and it's hard to find them under 100, and that's a good option for budget-minded sights. Excuse me. Sights, they go all over the place too. I've got right here like this one. This is a 5-pin adjustable from CBE, all micro adjust, toolless, first, second, third axis, comes with light, everything. 5 pins. It's $359, which is a good price for the CBE, depending on where you want to be. When we're setting up a package on a bow, There's so many options of things that we can do. Here I have a single pin from Redline. It's got a carbon fiber. It's a little bit lighter weight than most of them. Here's another single pin to show that we got them here. This is just over $100 from Apex. It's a really nice sight. Has a lot of good features. Comes with all the sight tapes, everything you need, sight light. So whatever your budget is on your bow build, you got stuff that's going to do it in that budget. I mean, you can get some sights that are as low as $25. Probably not for a seasoned hunter, but if you're a younger person or you're just new, trying to figure out if this is something you want to do for sure or not, why break the bank right out of the bank? You know, right off the bat, and it's kind of silly. Rests are another thing. You have the old classic whisker biscuit. I remember when these things came out, we thought they was the greatest thing on the planet. There's a lot of pros and cons to pretty much every one. Here's a Ripcord Code Red X. It's a lockup design, so you still have full capture, but yet it's a fall away rest. You have a Limb Driver Pro V, super lightweight, multiple different color options available for it. I think they got like 14 colors. It's crazy. All micro toolless, built-in levels, everything. And budget-wise, we can still get you a decent drop away. This one's $45. Same price as a whisker biscuit, but it's a drop away. It's all steel construction. You know, there's pros and cons to every one, but for the most part, you know, wherever your budget is on your build, we can get you in there. You don't have to break the bank to have a good performing bow.
Great. Well, that's it for our questions. Any closing words you have, Micah, for people coming in to look to buy a new bow?
Really go to your bow shops. Come here, talk to the guys. The bow tech doesn't have time to talk to you if they're not willing to spend some time helping you pick out what's going to be best for you. Man, if it's me, I'm going to a different shop. But let them talk to you. You know, this time of year it's a little tougher because a lot of us are really busy with all the hunting stuff that's going on. Rut's starting to kick in, and the season's really getting hot and heavy, and everybody wants their stuff to be absolutely perfect right now. So right now they're a little busy, but in the next few weeks that's going to slow down. And also we've got a big sale going on here at Thunder Lakes. Come in and check it out. It's our pre-Black Friday sale. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look us up on Facebook. You'll see it. No, talk to your bow tech and tell them exactly what you want to do with it. Ask him questions. Most of the guys in this industry are super great guys. They're going to help you out, help you get set with what's going to work best for you.